Coming up, a bumpy landing after a pilot's false arm falls off on a flight from Birmingham. The full story coming up next.
Now on ITV, with all the headlines where you are, it's the news.
Hello, welcome to ITV News Central. On the programme tonight, the wait is over, the envelopes are open. What next for our region's teens?
I came out with an A star, an A and a B. So honestly, I have no words to describe how I feel right now. It's amazing.
A bumpy landing as a pilot loses his false arm during a flight from Birmingham Airport.
The couple forced to jump from 2 floors up to escape a raging flat fire.
And on the hunt for the crooks selling this made-up makeup.
Good evening. It was the day of reckoning for thousands of students in the Midlands as they picked up their A-level results today. There have been tears, hugs and celebrations as sixth formers discovered how they'd fared in their summer exams.
Many who got the grades they wanted will now be off to university. Others who missed out will be madly phoning round to see which degree courses have still got places. Our education correspondent Peter Bean has spent the afternoon at De Montfort University in Leicester, where the clearing process has begun.
Good evening from De Montfort University on one of the busiest and biggest days in the education calendar, A-level results day. These volunteers you can see manning the phones behind me have been working feverishly all day, answering calls from students who are anxiously looking for a university place. The phones have been red hot here since first thing this morning, when those students at schools and colleges right across the Midlands were opening those envelopes to find out what A-level results they've got. With some of those students was our reporter, Lee Comley.
The wait was over and the nervous tearing of the envelopes began as students finally found out if their hard work had paid off.
A-law business. A-law? What do I?
Many were waiting to find out whether they'd made the grade for their chosen university. Results and decisions that could have a big impact on their future lives and careers. Many of those we spoke to at George Salter Academy in West Brom this morning were happy with their results and had secured places at their first choice of university.
Law, special studies, I got A, and I wasn't expecting that at all. But I got it, and because of that, I'll be able to go to university, which I want to, and do my course that I want to do. So
I got ABB overall. So yeah, I've got into Birmingham Uni through the A to B scheme, and I'm just extremely happy.
I was petrified. I come in and I was walking around basically in circles, trying not to panic too much. I got ABC, which means I get straight into my first choice, Birmingham, to go and do geography. Just really happy just to know that I'm getting into where I want to go and doing what I want to do. So.
Nationally, pass rates were down slightly, the first time that's happened since 1982. At Newcastle under Lyme College, they'd bucked the national trend with a rise in the number of passing grades.
Is that a happy smile? Has it gone well?
Yes, it's better than I expected, in fact.
Good. So what have you got?
An A star, 2 A's and a B.
I got 3 B's and I was hoping maybe to get at least 1 A, but I was quite close, so it's not too bad.
Pretty awesome. Oh yeah, definitely what I wanted. I got into the university of my choice, Manchester Metropolitan, so I'm over the moon and very excited.
Obviously we're really pleased, lots of happy students here today. We've had an improvement in our pass rate, and that actually means that all the effort has paid off.
For some though, getting their results was just the start of another search as they began the process of going through clearing. The message this year is to not worry, with some saying the choice of clearing places is better than ever. Lee Comley, ITV News.
So emotional scenes there as students picked up their A-level results. And I imagine there's been some emotion here on the end of these phone lines as students chase those coveted university places. I'll join one of the call handlers, Jamie, for a moment. Jamie, if I can just stop you and just give me an idea of just how busy it's been for you today.
It's been fantastically busy since 7 o'clock this morning. The lines have been pretty much non-stop. But it's brilliant that we can help so many young people, hopefully find them a course that suits their needs, sets them up for a job and a career that's perfect down the line.
And a few frantic people on the end of those phone lines?
Absolutely. There's been some stress. It's a big day in young people's lives, but we've been able to calm people down, give them some useful information and hopefully, get the information out of them to make some good decisions for them.
I'll let you get back to the phone lines. Thanks very much indeed. So yes, lots of action here at the Clearinghouse at De Montfort University, and I'm joined now by the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dominic Shellard. It sounds like it's been one of your busiest years ever.
Oh, it's been a fantastic day for us, Peter. We've seen record levels of interest. It's a good thing that we've installed an extra 70 phone lines. 300 staff have been working all day to handle all the calls.
Why do you think it has been so particularly busy and there have been so many more places this year?
I think there are a number of reasons. DMU last year recruited very well, so we were given more places to fill by our funding council. We've also got a really good track record on things like employability. 94% of our students go on to get jobs within 6 months. And we just run this fantastic TV advert called Razor's Edge, which has generated a lot of interest as well.
Well, don't forget that one in. I mean, they have said it's been a tougher year this year for A-level students. Do you think that's affected the way universities have treated them at all?
Well, there was lots of talk about grade deflation, but it hasn't really happened. I still think it's there are some really good quality places out there if you look for it, and I would encourage anybody who's still looking for a place to make that phone call.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. Now, Rebecca Robson, you're from the Students' Union here. A lot of people on the end of these phone lines will be quite worried. Clearing is difficult. What would you say to them to reassure them?
Clearing is a fantastic opportunity to gain access to courses, especially if you haven't received those results that you were maybe expecting. It's not all doom and gloom though. Our Deputy President of Education over at the Students' Union, Amy Chapman, actually came to us through Clearing and managed to achieve a first-class honours in psychology and education.
Thanks so much indeed to both of you. So, as you can hear there, clearing can lead to big things. But away from here, it's not everybody's choice to go to university, of course. There are other options open to you apart from the academic route. And some people will want to go straight into the workplace. And just today, in fact, in Cannon Hill Park in Birmingham, a jobs festival opened for 3 days. It's expected to attract up to 15,000 people looking for jobs and looking for apprenticeships. A lot of trainees will be looking there as well. We've been talking to the organisers there and finding out from one business just what's on offer if you want to be an apprentice.
Number one, you're not going to get into any debt, as the way you will at university. Number two, you're going to have that opportunity to understand what it's like to be in the working environment, get that work experience that's necessary that employers are looking for, so you're able to compete in the world.
We've had a lot of people who've come back to us who've said, look, can't cope with university life, debt issues, etc., etc. Really, an apprenticeship provides me with a much better route forward to the future.
So lots of options there, university, apprenticeships, trainees, or just go into the workplace straight away. A lot of people will be making those decisions tonight, looking at their A-level results and choosing their options carefully. Of course, these clearinghouses will be open for a little while yet. This one will be open till 8 o'clock tonight and again open tomorrow and on Saturday. So don't worry, it could still happen yet. For those people who've still got their A-level results tonight, I guess on behalf of all of the ITV Central team, we would say many congratulations and the best wishes for your future career. Peter Bean, ITV News, Leicester.
We certainly would. Well done on your A-level results. Good or bad, there are always options.
The key message from that is that the options are there. If you didn't quite remember it seems like a long time ago now because it was, but not quite getting what you wanted, having to go through the phone call stuff, and things eventually have a tendency of working out. So however things went for you, future is bright. Yes. Good luck, well done. And if you do need a little bit of advice about how things need to go in the future, you can of course get plenty of it on our website. itv.com/central is the all-important address.
Right then, in other news, one of Flybe's most experienced and trusted pilots lost control of a passenger plane flying from Birmingham after his artificial arm detached when he was coming into land.
A report into the incident at Belfast Airport concluded that none of the 47 passengers on board were hurt and the aircraft was not damaged. The pilot, who was flying the plane manually, said there was not time to brief his co-pilot to take control.
Flybe have released a statement saying safety was not compromised during the incident in February. Well, to find out a bit more, earlier I spoke to a trainee pilot who's learning to fly with a prosthetic arm. I started off by asking him to explain what happened as he understands it.
when we come in for a landing, we've got our hand on the control yoke, and what you do when you come into the landing, just before you touch down, you do what we call a flare, where you pull back on your controls so the nose of the aircraft lifts up and you land on the rear wheels, and you just get a nice even landing. And at the same time you power down, so you take all power off. Now what's happened to this chap is his prosthetic arm has come off at the flare position when his other good arm was on the throttle, ready to throttle down, and at which point he's come down with power on. So as soon as he'd landed, which has created a bit of a bounce because he landed with power, he's then cut the power off. But that was the right thing to do.
Now, you're training to be a pilot, and a similar thing, I understand, has happened to you during your training. What was it like for you, and did you feel like you could quickly get back the control?
Yeah, for me it was quite exciting and quite interesting. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, but I was actually trying to control the aircraft with my prosthetic arm while my hand was on the power. There's a similar situation to this pilot. It pulled my prosthetic arm off at 3,500 feet. We were perfectly safe. There were 3,500 feet below us. It was quite exciting and good fun. But that points out the issues that you know that you're ready for should they happen.
It sounds quite exciting for you, but for passengers, quite frightening. Should we be concerned?
No, you shouldn't be concerned. Fear of the unknown is perfectly normal. We're all afraid of the unknown. In fact, before I started taking flying lessons, I needed 3 weeks of hypnotherapy to get on an aeroplane.
Stephen, some people might be quite surprised to learn that there are pilots with prosthetic arms flying commercial aircraft. How common is it?
Commercially, I don't think it's so common. I mean, it does happen. There are people out there flying aircraft with prosthetics, but generally, people that fly with prosthetics fly with lower limb prosthetics. So, prosthetic arms, we tend not to find many pilots that fly with prosthetic arms, but definitely they are there.
Is there anything else that can be done to ensure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again?
Well, I would imagine now that the pilot is aware of this situation, it will become part of his pre-flight landing checks. So when he comes into pre-flight to pre-landing, he's got all these checks that he has to go through. He's checking all certain systems, and one of his checks will be that his prosthetic arm is secured.
OK, Stephen, thank you very, very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple had to jump out of a second-floor window to escape a fire in their flat in the Black Country last night. The fire broke out in Tividale in Tipton during the firefighters' strike between 11 and midnight. West Midlands Fire Service says it was able to send contingency crews. The man suffered fractures to his leg and the woman was treated for smoke inhalation. One resident explains how they'd helped rescue her.
She was just about to jump out without anything there, and everyone was like, no, stay in there. We tried to get in, tried to kick the door down, but the doors are too strong. And we just decided, we got a ladder off someone, too small the ladder was. And then in the end, the community got together and said, get the mattress, and I ran inside, got my mattress, brought it out, and then she jumped onto it in the end. I didn't see much of her jumping, but I know she jumped kind of like face first kind of thing. But straight away, the ambulance was here. By the time she jumped, all the crew came. So the ambulance took her straight away, and the gentleman, I think he broke his legs.
Jaguar Land Rover have announced it's opening new premises in Ryton-on-Dunsmore near Coventry, creating 100 new jobs. The Vehicle Operations Technical Centre will be at Prologis Park, creating luxury bespoke models and high-performance cars. They're hoping to be operational at the site by the end of the year, with £20 million being invested.
More than 60 households a day in the West Midlands are at risk of eviction or repossession. That's according to research by homelessness charity Shelter into the number of people struggling to pay their rent or their mortgage. Residents in Wolverhampton and Sandwell are more likely to face losing their homes.
With a day to go until gates open at one of the region's largest festivals, paramedics are warning music lovers to be prepared. West Midlands Ambulance Service is advising people heading to the V Festival at Weston Park on the Shropshire-Staffordshire border this weekend to be ready for all conditions. It's made a video with tips on how to stay safe at the three-day event. This year's headliners are The Killers and Justin Timberlake.
Now, you're watching ITV News Central. Stay with us, still plenty more to come on the programme. Catching the culprit selling made-up makeup.
Plus the Coventry fans who still just want the club to come home.
And we're taking a quick look ahead to the weekend, seeing which of the two is going to be the dry days, Saturday or Sunday, because we are going to see showers here in the West Midlands.